Welcome back to Abu Dhabi for our final race of season 2014 when it comes to the Ferrari Challenge, and this is where the honours of the world title will be won. Championships are all done and dusted. It is down to the glory of having the gold roof now as we pitch all our TropheoPirelli drivers from the three regions, from Asia Pacific, from North America and for Europe as well, in this glittering Finali Mondiali 3-day festival of Ferrari here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, the 5.5 kilometer circuit. CorsaClienti.com is the website for you to find out all the information you would like to know about the Ferrari Challenge. What a fascinating and fantastic season we've had in 2014, and what a brilliant season we're looking forward to in 2015. But talking of success in 2014, alongside me is Tony Verlander. First of all, many congratulations, world champion here, Jimmy Bruni, GTE Pro Class. What stars you are.
Thank you very much. It's been a great season, and very honored to be here to follow with you the final.
Well, it's going to be a good final, and of course you've hot foot from your presentation in Doha, which actually is not too far away, is it? But nonetheless, that's where you were, and being presented with your championship, absolutely brilliant. We're pleased to have you alongside to give us a driver's eye perspective as this race unfolds as well. A very technical circuit, this 5.5 kilometer circuit, and it's blooming hot out there, Tony.
Yeah, the tricky track makes it difficult, but also the temperature, as you said, it takes most out of the drivers. Already on the previous starts we could see the drivers that they're really giving all they got out there on the track, and also tire wise the temperature is really high, so guys will be sliding towards the end of the race. The track itself looks pretty easy on the map, but honestly it's really difficult, and especially the last sector going under the bridge, under the hotel, that's the difficult part.
Thanks, Tony. Just in our pole sitter, Philippe Baron, who's won this twice before, and now we see the TropheoPirelli champion who took the title here, Daniel D'Amato, who will be starting from P5 on the grid. Interesting, it was his father that was speaking to him there, as we see another superstar, Max Blancardi, who is now choosing to race in the Asia Pacific series. Raced in the European series for many years, very successfully, but he's won the championship previously. What he has never won is he's never won this world final race. So that surely, Tony, must be a real motivator. You know, you really want to take the one race that the one title that you haven't won.
Yeah, this is the real high tension of the season, and it's good way to end the season. It's also been a long week for these drivers. They've been here for many days, and this is where it all matters. This is where it all comes together, and many times in the world final we've seen some dramatic things happening, so that's also part of the tension.
I think you're right. I think we might see some drama this afternoon unfold in front of us. A 40-minute race. There's Daniel and Renato D'Amato once again just having final conversations before this last race of the season gets underway. For 2015, well, in Europe, we'll be traveling to Monza and Mugello and Budapest and Paul Ricard and Imola and Valencia. The North American series goes to Daytona and Miami and Sonoma and Montreal and Mosport, Mont-Tremblant and Laguna Seca. And Asia Pacific, well, it's Sepang, Fuji, Shanghai, Zhuhai, Sentul, and season rounding out at Sepang. All the information, of course, at CorsaClienti.com, where you can find out all the information about the Ferrari Challenge. Good bunch of people, good crowd here for this final day of the festival of the Finali Mondiali, as we look at Constantino Bertuzzi, who is down there in the number 3 car. It was he that right at the beginning of our TV programming this weekend took us on a hot lap live on board Constantino Bertuzzi. He'll be hoping to do well. He will be going from P7 on the grid. The Ferrari brollies are up primarily to protect from the heat, though also for glamour purposes as well. Baron and Grossman front row, Blancardi Carzo second row, with D'Amato and Ezequiel Perez compact, the first of the TropheoPirelli AM drivers to show in P6. But before we get this race underway, let's take a look at the highlights from the race yesterday. Well, some of the highlights from the event yesterday. We'll bring you the highlights of the race as well. 40-minute race, Tony. That's quite physical. That's quite challenging, isn't it? Normal race duration is 30 minutes, and just that additional 10 minutes does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And let's not forget the heat. When it, as a driver's side, until the temperature and being inside the car is acceptable, you can give it all, but then you need to reserve also the energy. 40 minutes takes a lot out of you, and the guys will be pushing like qualifying laps the whole 40 minutes, so it's really demanding physically.
Okay, promised you the highlights of the race yesterday. Here they come. Just towards the end of those highlights, you saw the battle that was going on between Bjorn Grossman, P1, and Philippe Baron, P2. Now, interestingly, the roles are reversed for the start of this race. Baron is on pole, and Grossman is behind him, as you can see the grid there. But Baron made a mistake there, didn't he? He just overcooked it.
Yeah, coming out of the hairpin, going to the back straight, he just went too early on the throttle. Maybe a little lack of grip in the rear tires, and he just lost it. And what was nice to see, there was no real contact, but he just was really a little bit too optimistic going on throttle and lost it on the exit. All the other highlights really really aggressive racing and some little too optimistic overtaking stuff, but that's also part of the character of the racetrack. There's really high speed braking, tight hairpins in the end, and it's really wide as well, the racetrack, so gives you the opportunity to deep diving, and even if you are a little bit further back, gives you the chance to dive in.
Well, Baron will be wanting to put right the mistake of yesterday as we're running through the grid for you. It's Baron from Grossman, then Blancardi and Carzo. D'Amato, Ezequiel Perez, Compact, then Bertuzzi and Merckx and Pret, and Alex Martin, Ricardo Perez, Steve Wyatt, then Giannoni, Hetman, Negro, Vezzoni, and the rest of the pack all line up there. So we went through the top 16 drivers from 17 down through to 28. We have Moisev and Ferrano and Musso and Martin Nelson, also Gandour and Tucker and Pergel and Roker and Socio Del Pret, Alexis Di Bernardi, P26, Eric Chung and Vadim Gitlin bringing up the rear. 28 cars on track. And you just know, or you just predict, Tony, that it's going to be action-packed for 40 minutes.
Yeah, the number of 28 of cars guarantees you the hot action for 40 minutes, so it will be exciting. Okay,
the Hublot safety car is taking them away on their formation lap. And it's at this point all the Ferrari Challenge races have started with a rolling start, so right at the end of the 5.5 kilometer lap, the safety car will peel off, and it will be down to the front row of Philippe Baron and Bjorn Grossman. just to control the pace of the start. All the social media up there on screen for you. And the website that I will remind you is corsaclienti.com. That is the best website for you to go to find out everything that you would like to know about the Ferrari Challenge. So the car's on the way now. It's probably about the hottest part of the day here. It's 3:15 local time. And nonetheless, despite how hot it is, Tony, they still want to try and generate some heat into those Pirelli tyres, yes?
Yeah, and as so many in these races, a lot of it's done in the early parts. The start and the first 2 laps, there you can make a huge difference. If a driver and the car and the tires are ready, it can be seconds. After that, it's up to tenths.
Right.
When you get to the race rhythm, you can be 0.2 seconds faster, but first 2 laps you can get 2 to 3 seconds.
So the margins are greater at the start when the tyres are fresher, and so it's getting everything up to temperature at the very start is absolutely crucial. Well, Baron will be well conscious of that. So too will Bjorn Grossman. What's also interesting, Tony, I should explain, is between Baron and Grossman, Baron used to drive for the team that Grossman is driving for now. So there's a little bit of inter-team rivalry as well.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize most of these drivers, also the teams, and most of the drivers have coaches that are my colleagues in my racing.
Of course.
So the level is very high, and all these guys want to prepare on the top of their game. So, as you said, the race calendar for next season, you can race this car around the world.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the information they got, the experience they want is what they want it to be right and exactly right. And the preparation that goes to this championship is huge.
Yes.
So, what shows the quality of the drivers, Baron, Grossman, they up there season after season.
Yes,
so
you're right.
It shows that these guys are really top of their game and top of this category.
Very, very high level, and great to see and great to talk about. So Baron, Grossman, Blancardi and Carzo. Now Dario Carzo is going to be one to watch from P4 on the grid. Daniel D'Amato, who's sealed the TropheoPirelli Championship, goes from P5. Then we see, as we look at the D'Amato team there, all wearing the bright orange T-shirts, denoting the fact that he has won the championship. There is the Hublot safety car. Ezequiel Perez Compact is going to be the first AM driver to show, and he's going from P6. And Ezequiel Perez Compact, he took the TropheoPirelli AM title, so he's been very, very successful. And he, as a driver, Tony, has really, really impressed us. A young Argentinian that came into this as a guest driver at one event in Portimao last year, and then joined the season full time, and he's taken the AM Championship. I mean, that's success, isn't it?
I was actually there presenting Portimao, one of his early days of his career. He was actually there for the first time testing the challenge car, and I was there, and the young guy, I could see the excitement and how anxious he was to get out of the track, and again there, learn as fast as you can and be ready for this championship.
Well, thank you, Tony. Brilliant to have your viewpoint on everything that we're going to see unfold in front of us as well, Grossman and Baron side by side there, and well, some of the fans already deciding to start to celebrate Christmas a bit early. Is it going to come early for any of these drivers? We will see, because they want to take that world final race. That is for sure. As they head towards the lights, we'll throw them to the top of the screen. You can see it's going to be a real drag now to the front. Look at this, Tony, alongside Max Blancardi. What a start from the third or fourth row of the grid there as they head towards turn number 1.
Yeah, it was a really exciting start, but I believe around third, fourth row there was a jump start. We have to wait and see.
Okay, and we've got one car turned around. I think it was Constantino Bertuzzi that made the really ambitious move, and having gone round there already is car number 448, and that's driven by Negro. He has gone round. So where have we got? Philippe Baron through P1. Yes, it is Constantino Bertuzzi who made that blistering start. So Baron leads from Bjorn Grossman as the rest of the pack come through here, already having seen one car turned around. And there we can see the number 91 car of Philippe Baron in the lead. Bjorn Grossman P2. Then behind him is Constantino Bertuzzi.
And maybe the Bertuzzi's optimistic start, and if he doesn't have the pace, maybe it opens a chance for Baron now to pull away in early laps. The start was really on the limit. We have to wait and see what the marshals think about it, because he just had way too much speed at the time when the lights went off, and that put Grossman now to P3, and he has to go past Bertucci.
And what we were saying just before the race started is Baron, when he's not under pressure, as we see Florian Merckx there going past Ricardo Perez. What is absolutely fascinating about Philip Baron is once he's got his nose in front and he's not under pressure from anyone, he can set just lap after lap after lap, and that's exactly what he needs to do in the early stages.
Yeah, that's the quality of top driver. He can do the 40 minutes in qualifying rhythm.
You called this absolutely perfectly. Drive-through penalty is going to be awarded to Constantino Bertuzzi, so you were right, he was carrying too much speed at that start.
But at the same time, Grossman knew that he had to pass Bertuzzi as quickly as he can, so he's already up to P2, and now he's up to these two drivers, Baron and Grossman on the top.
So Bertuzzi is going to have to serve his drive-through penalty within 3 laps. So it is Baron that's leading from Grossman. Bertuzzi, that's academic, him being in P3 at the moment, because it's going to be Max Blancardi effectively P3 as we see Alex Martin side by side there. And, well, Baron with a 2.2 second margin already. That's healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Good start from the race. I mean, that was just exactly the thing we were talking about before the race. The opening laps, the traffic, all the cars together is where you can make a big difference.
There's Ezequiel Perez, compact then, the number 90 driver who sadly has gone backwards. He's down there in P14 there. Confirmation of that drive-through penalty for that driver, Constantino Bertuzzi, who power slides around that corner. Now, of course, he's holding Max Blancardi up now, and it's academic, isn't it? Because Max will know that he's got to serve a drive-through penalty, but he'll want to get past him nonetheless to keep on terms with Baron, who we see on screen now. That is Bjorn Grossman, P2, and actually, effectively, P3 is going to be Max Blancardi.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the difference, most of the difference between Grossman and Baron came because of Bertucci being P2. So this will be a lot of talking after the race for sure.
I think you're right. And here we can see it. It's obvious to you, isn't it? Absolutely. Past Daniel D'Amato. Max Blancardi very nearly took him out, didn't he? They got really side by side, and I think Max probably lost a door mirror in that little exchange. But Bertuzzi, well, you're right. He was so much quicker, Tony, than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, if you pass guys on the row in front of you, but he overtook 3 rows.
Yeah.
And he was risking to be P1 for turn 1, so yeah, it was a little bit too much this time.
So Ricardo Perez then has got past Florian Merckx, and that puts him up into P8, and Alex Martin continuing to have a real battle there. That was with Steve White in 477, perhaps it was Raphael Giannoni, couldn't quite see, but let's get back to the front. There is Bjorn Grossman, Constantino Bertuzzi, who's not served his drive-through penalty yet. He's going to have to do it within 3 laps of being advised of that, but all the time he's doing that, he's holding up Max Blancardi, he's holding up Dario Carzo, and he's holding up Daniel D'Amato, who are the 3 cars that follow him. And that must be frustrating as a driver, because you don't want to risk everything to try and go past, because you know he's got to go in anyway, and you know there's still 35 minutes of the race, but whilst that's happening the others are getting up the road, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all about track position, and it's really difficult to overtake. I mean, when you get really close of the driver in front of you, we always talk about aerodynamics and the grip and the dirty air. So, and here we see number 78.
Well, he is being turned around there by Robert Purgel in car number 11. Right, Constantino Bertuzzi has gone in to serve his drive-through penalty. So that means the fastest lap being set there by Philip Baron, who's leading from the front, but it also means that now Blancardi and Carzo and D'Amato can try and get on terms, and they're some 2 seconds behind Blancardi, behind Grossman. So there you can see race leader coming through, Philip Baron. There is P2, that's Bjorn Grossman, and you get the gap is really noticeable on screen. And now Max Blancardi with a lot of work to do to try and get on terms. The margin between Philip Baron and Bjorn Grossman, and bear in mind that Philip Baron has created this margin in the first 6 minutes of this race. That's a healthy margin to have.
And a very strong performance by Philip Baron. He's on fire. The last lap was 15.2 and Grossman behind 15.9, so that's 0.7 seconds last lap.
Amazing stuff. Steve Tucker we saw just in the pit lane there momentarily. And there is Bjorn Grossman. Now Blancardi is coming under a bit of pressure from Dario Carzo. There is big Dario behind in car number 8. And Daniel D'Amato, the new champion, is behind Dario Carzo. Now Max Blancardi chooses to ply his craft now, Tony, across the Asia-Pacific Series rather than the European Series, where arguably the level of driving is a little bit different to the EU. So I think Blancardi is going to have to drive well out of himself to keep his position, but he's certainly looking okay at the moment. So Max Blancardi in there in P3. Of course, he took the TropheoPirelli Pro category for Asia Pacific, and Dario Carzo right with him, and Daniel D'Amato, the new champion, trying to hold on as well. At the moment, D'Amato looks closest to Carzo. D'Amato in P5, as we see a replay here of more action going on, that's for sure. Well, that worked. Alexis Di Bernardi there, and that's the rejoining Constantino Bertuzzi, who's come back for having served his drive-through penalty, and is back down to P20. Lap 2 was the fastest lap for Barron, 2:15.258. The battle for third position between Blancardi and Carzo and D'Amato. You can see Daniel D'Amato there in the all-orange machine, but Max Blancardi seemingly trouble-free at the moment. The pressure from Dario Carzo has gone away just for a moment. Daniel D'Amato keeping eyes on them though, but that was a missed braking point, wasn't it, for Blancardi? Just cut that.
Yeah, going to turn 4 and 5, he just went straight on and carried too much speed in, and he couldn't stay on the track, so he had to cut a little bit to rejoin at the track.
So Bjorn Grossman is 4 seconds behind our leader, Philip Barron. D'Amato on Dario Carzo. This is the battle for P4. Dario Carzo is currently P4 with Daniel D'Amato behind him. It was a fascinating last race 2 at Turkey, when both of those cars were fighting for championship honours, and they were within 10 points of each other. In the last race at Turkey at the Istanbul Park circuit, they were so close over lap after lap after lap, but really good, clean racing. And again, reinforcing what you were saying, Tony, racing at a very high level.
And the last lap, adventures by Blancardi and D'Amato, they both got warning on track limits, so they don't have much margin to play with, and now they need to keep on the racetrack.
What's really interesting is that across our message screen, this is the first time that track limits warnings have been issued. So just proves how hard these guys are pushing in this, the final race of the season for 2014.
Yeah, also, I mean, the track limits, and once the race direction sees a clear improvement, yes, on a sector time, and that means the guy didn't back off and didn't respect the track limit, so then the penalties, well, I mean, it's the right way to do.
And as you say, you've just pointed out the purple sector, sector 2 for Max Blancardi, where he was clearly 2 seconds jolly near quicker than others through that sector. So that's obviously why that warning flag being issued. That is Alex Martin in the Dexter car number 6, chasing down Florian Merckx. So Alex Martin is P9 at the moment. Florian Merckx is P8. Florian Merckx, the gold livery on that number 88 car, with the Dexter machine of Alex Martin right behind him there. And then it is Steve Wyatt behind those, and Rafael Giannoni and Ezequiel Perez-Companc, who's wrestled his way back up to P12 at the moment. But Barron still leading by an extremely healthy margin of 5.7 seconds at the front of the pack, and consistently lapping very quick indeed. Last lap, Grossman had a torrid time of it. Look, 2:17.345 compared to 2:15.130 for Barron and 2:15.715 for Blancardi.
Yeah, this is really playing for Philip Barron, and that 5.7 seconds lead after 10 minutes of racing is starting to look pretty confident.
Well, we'll see if he can maintain, increase or decrease that over the remaining 30 minutes of this race. Alex Martin furiously flashing his lights at Florian Merckx ahead of him. This is Philippe Pret that we're watching now in car number 417, who's P7 at the moment. Took the TropheoPirelli Championship in the Asia Pacific Series. Did Philippe Pret, another one of those drivers that used to ply the Ferrari Challenge in both Italy and Europe, and now preferring to go and race over in Asia Pacific. And the standard of circuits that these Ferrari Challenge cars appear on, fantastic circuits, aren't they?
Yeah, all the tracks you mentioned before the race started are just the top of the world. I mean, all the tracks we go with our GT2 car, and it's just a great joy to drive around Daytona Montreal, most real old school track with the walls closed and years of, I don't know, Jackie Stewart, Niki Lauda, so that's old school stuff.
Yes, you're right. All right, and in EU, very old school as well, because the season always starts at Monza, and next year is going to be known different, 18th, 19th of April. That's when the 2015 campaign for the Ferrari Challenge across Europe will get underway at the traditional home, which is Monza circuit. Barron now ahead of Grossman with no problems for Philippe Barron. He's extending his lead lap after lap, isn't he? 6.4 is the gap now. His last lap was a 2:15.682. Compared that to Grossman's a 2:16.618. That's a full second on a lap, Tony. That's remarkable.
Really, really strong performance by Philippe Barron, and just shows how well he has the car under control and how well he's set up for the track. And just during the week, he just improved the car consistently, and this is the real result of it.
Big lock up there from Dario Carso. Do you think in any way that the mistake he made yesterday has kind of provoked him and pushed him to wanting to do even better now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little difference between each driver. But normally having top driver like Barron, it's just an extra motivation.
Yes.
Gives you the extra concentration, and maybe the mistake of yesterday was a so-called wake-up call.
Yes.
Hey, we need to be wake up and do our best, and then when we manage to do our race 40 minutes in a top level, we will be good. So maybe it was a good timing for that error, having that yesterday, and today is another day.
Yes, you're right. Right, this gap, or this battle for P4 between Dario Carso and Daniel D'Amato is hotting up. Saw there on screen the difference between them over the last 3 laps. Daniel D'Amato was right on the back of Dario Carso and continues to be so. So Carso's being harried along here. Now, if anyone is likely to make a mistake under pressure, has to be said, Tony, Dario Carso is probably the man that will yield to that pressure and just make an error. And that's what Daniel D'Amato will be trying to do now, isn't it? It's push him to the absolute limit, and all he needs is just one little mistake, and then like a viper he will pounce.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this track gives you the chance to follow the car in front of you closely. We can see that the cars after half distance of the race start to battle with the grip and the heat that there's coming from the racetrack, and already we can see the car in front of him is really sideways, and it will be a tough battle to go to the end of the race.
Yes, I think you're right. So Dario Carso there just ran a bit wide. Unfortunately, Daniel D'Amato wasn't able to seize that advantage at that point, but you just know as they turn 21, as there's a problem for Bjorn Grossman, who was P2, is falling down the pack. He's fallen down to P6, and Max Blancardi is now P2. We'll get a replay, I'm sure, of what has happened to Bjorn Grossman. Perhaps just no, he's dropping like a stone through the timing screen now, Tony, so that looks like a problem for Bjorn Grossman.
Yeah, we can see the second sector time, and he's not cutting the last sector, so there must be an issue for sure.
Well,
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a great shame. There is Daniel D'Amato, who's, well, the only issue he has at the moment is Dario Carso ahead of him, and he can't get past him at the moment, and Dario, as he slides that car around, and Dario's constantly, Grossman's in the pits, we can see, along with Henrik Hedman. Now, I don't think the two are connected. Let's see from on board here as we go past Raphael Giannoni there. A pass there by Alessandro Vezzoni, getting past Giannoni. Still not seen quite what's happened to Bjorn Grossman. And once again, D'Amato keeps up the pressure on Dario Carso, but we were looking at Martin Nelson, and there's Grossman's car. He's out of the car, Tony. It's game over, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in racing, I don't believe good or bad luck, but it's always unfortunate to see a guy stopping on a technical issue, and as I said, it's been a hard week, hard racing for this, and to have a DNF in the World Final is not a nice thing to end of the season.
Well, Daniel D'Amato. Well, now, of course, Dario Carso, who's leading Daniel D'Amato in P3 at the moment. Well, Carso's being gifted the potential opportunity of a podium here, and I think that will motivate him to make it even harder for Daniel D'Amato to get past, because to be on the World Final podium is a delight, isn't it? Ricardo Perez is leading in the AM category, as you can see.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, to finish on the podium is a good reward after the race, to be fourth is like winning the golden pineapple. You know, it's not really the place where you want to finish, and this is the closest battle we have out there. And as we see, it's really intense.
Yes, it is. As D'Amato's turning the wick up again, once again on Dario Carzo. And Carzo will be well aware that his rear-view mirror is full of the all-orange car of the new TropheoPirelli champion. Daniel D'Amato took that championship here, and you can see the difference between the two there. And Dario Carzo, as Daniel D'Amato ran a bit wide there. There's Samantha Blancardi, who looks on and knows her husband is in P2 position right now, although nearly 10 seconds behind Barron. Such a good job Barron is doing out there, leading this race. He has an extremely healthy margin. That's not the case between these two, Dario Carzo and Daniel D'Amato, who continue to battle, and Carzo has to use opposite lock to control the slide. Is this an opportunity for D'Amato to get on terms? Well, he does the hairpin pretty well. D'Amato now up the inside of Dario Carzo. They rub, panel rubbing together, rubbing his racing is what they say, but they are side by side, Tony.
Yeah, really close racing, and I think Carzo has some issues with the traction. He's been sideways already lap before, and this time D'Amato was able to take an advantage, and now it's a heartbreaking thing going to the hairpin, and really close and clear racing.
Well, D'Amato got the job done. I thought Carzo was going to try for the switchback there, but the chicane, it wasn't quite the right place for him to be able to do that. So the positions turn around, and now D'Amato is ahead of Dario Carzo, but Dario Carzo will fight back. He is a feisty racer. Look at that car squirm under braking. Dives to the inside now, and Daniel D'Amato and Dario Carzo are fighting tooth and nail here over that position, and you can just sense that the setup in Daniel D'Amato's car is slightly better than Dario Carzo's. Carzo's car looks a bit wayward, doesn't it? And well, dare I say it, Dario carries probably a bit more weight than Daniel D'Amato as well, and around the turn they go, and Daniel D'Amato is ahead now. Let's see it from on board. Runs to the outside there of Dario Carzo, and then up the inside is when he gets really alongside him, and it's a long drag now, isn't it? Almost 1.2 kilometers.
Yeah, we can definitely see on Carzo's car there is more of a traction issue. He cannot go on power like D'Amato, and yeah, that's it. But it was really nice and close racing, and you can see the front brake disc are absolutely on the limit, almost on fire.
It's brilliant racing that we're seeing here in this, the final race of the TropheoPirelli Ferrari Challenge Season 4 2014. Being led by Philip Barron, who is a country mile up the road, some 10.7 seconds in the lead. Alex Martin still not able to find a way past Florian Merckx, we just see on screen there. And that little pack is being headed by Philippe Pret. That is Florian Merckx in the all-gold machine with Alex Martin, the UK driver right behind him, who's taken, well, only took a bit of the paint, but took a bit of the Astro as well there, Tony. A completely different line through there as he tries to carry as much speed as he possibly can. Heavy braking for Philippe Pret now, so too from Florian Merckx into this section, and Philippe Pret got it all under control. Is Alex Martin going to get alongside him now? He will try and dive to the inside and get the drag now along this straight. No, he doesn't. He runs wide. Made a bit of a mistake of that, really, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you could see that the guys are really confident with the racetrack. Different racing lines, but already some protection on the going into the corners. So I mean, we are on the limit of the rules and the track limits, and guys yes. are going a bit wild at the moment.
Well, both car number 88 and number 6, which are the cars that the battle that we're watching at the moment between Florian Merckx and Alex Martin, they're both being warned about track limits. And well, and there we can see Florian Merckx having battle now with Philippe Pret, and Philippe Pret tries to make that 458 as wide as he possibly can to protect any charge from Florian Merckx. And Florian Merckx there, he's right in the middle, Tony, isn't he? So he's both the hunter and being hunted too.
Yeah, there's no margin of error. If he makes a mistake, it's a lost place, and at the same time he needs to keep really focused on the car in front of him and seek every possibility to overtake.
We're just on half distance for this race here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, and under the bridge that links the two wings of the Viceroy Hotel comes the battle that we're watching at the moment for P6 on the track. It's Philippe Pret who is P6 at the moment. Florian Merckx is P7. Then it's Alex Martin. And what this is doing, as they're battling, it's allowing Steve Wyatt and Ezequiel Perez Compact to get on terms with them as well. And Ezequiel Perez Compact now looking very, very racy on Steve Wyatt. Now, Ezequiel Perez Compact, as you said earlier, is someone that impressed you when you first met him in Portimao.
Yeah, I mean, young driver with a lot of will to learn.
Yeah.
Really anxious to make questions, how you guys driving here and doing the lines and stuff, and also a really quick learner. As we can see, this year he's done some impressive results, and as a young driver racing against the pro guys and really showing his talent.
Well, Florian Merckx showing just how wide he can make that car in terms of track limits as he runs up wide yet again, and Alex Martin not close enough to take that opportunity to try and get past Florian Merckx. Philippe Pret is loving the fact that they're battling all behind, and he'll be really happy that the rest are joining in as well, because that's going to allow him a little bit of breathing space to protect his P6 position at the moment. But Ezequiel Perez Compact, who is running in P10 at the moment, takes a look up the inside of Steve Wyatt. You can see he's not quite close enough to be alongside him, but I wonder if he'll try and outbrake him going into this turn. Ezequiel Perez Compact on the inside. The car skids around a bit at the front, and he has to tuck in behind the Steve Wyatt car.
Yeah, but what was a good call from Compact. He was a little bit too far back, and if he would have dived in, I think it would have been contact. So clever driving, and as you said, the guys fighting in front of him are giving the chance to close up.
And side by side, Florian Merckx and Alex Martin now. And Martin is, well, run out of room there, to be fair, and gained an advantage, didn't he, Tony? Is it that's going to be called for him to give that position back, surely?
Yeah, I mean, a little issue again with the track limits. Guys are seeing the car sliding a little bit offline, and they just want to dive off the track. And let's see, again, the call from the race direction, what's going to be.
So Ezequiel Perez Compact then still tucked up behind Steve Wyatt, and Steve Wyatt now with Florian Merckx ahead of him. Let's see in replay here. This was the battle between Alex Martin and Florian Merckx. So now it's when Alex dives, takes more curb than Florian Merckx, certainly in the Dextra car, and just gets his nose right alongside him. And Ezequiel Perez Compact on Steve Wyatt, and he goes through there, and that was a nice clean move.
That was very nice, going to the last hairpin, last corner. And Perez Compact is taking advantage on Wyatt. Maybe Steve Wyatt may be losing the rhythm a little bit. The car's fighting in front of him, and really clear, nice move from Perez Compact.
How difficult is it, Tony, to maintain your focus and your concentration when you're being hounded and chased so very hard, as Dario Carzo is now coming under some pressure from Ricardo Perez, because it's when that pressure, that relentless pressure is on you. And look at these two absolutely side by side as Carzo takes more curb than Ricardo Perez does. It must play on your mind. Do you try and not look in the rear view mirror? Do you try and just focus on what you're doing and nailing every apex, or?
Yeah, obviously we see here many different level of drivers, and with the different background. You know, since the go-karts we learned the close racing, the slipstream, using the guy in front of you to catch the ones even further up in front, and it goes again driver to driver. There are drivers, as you said, Baron, you give him a 5 to 10 seconds lead and he will maintain that to the end of the race, and some of the drivers are really anxious to go through the group and really good on coming back to the front. So as we see in the whole race, the battle has been really close in all of the top positions, and again when the tires go a little bit off and the grip gives you the chance to slide, you can see the small difference in the setup of the car, but also the driver. And here we see the Perez Compact overtaking Steve Wyatt. He went a little bit wide to the second last corner, and really nice move to the last corner.
Thanks, Tony. And we also saw, as Rafael Giannone gets into the side of the Steve Wyatt car, in replay, that was how Ricardo Perez managed to get past Dario Carzo, the wayward car of Dario Carzo, who's been struggling with that and the traction issues over the last few laps, and Ricardo Perez able to get past him as well. This is Max Blancardi, who's running P2 at the moment. Daniel D'Amato, you can see there in the all-orange machine, is running P3. Just under 15 minutes left to run, as now we see Ricardo Perez, who is P4, and then Dario Carzo relegated to P5 now. Raphael Giannoni being given a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, it might have been with the contact before with Steve Wyatt. Maybe they touched earlier. Now for the first time, Philip Barron is not the fastest driver on the track, but I think the only reason is he's starting to manage the lead he has at the moment. After 11 laps, he has exactly 11-second lead, so it's an average of 1 second per lap, and that's really impressive.
Now, Florian Merckx was fighting back against Ezequiel Perez-Companc, because Ezequiel Perez-Companc had fought his way past, and well, surely that move is not going to be allowed, Tony.
Yeah, it's just again going just straight, avoiding 2 corners. I think for the future, the race direction, we need to have little reinforcement in the rules, and forcing to the guys that hey, we need to stay on the track and respect the track limits. And this time is Perez-Companc.
Stunning. Well, I don't know what to say. Really, I don't. But we're on board with Ezequiel Perez-Companc, and well, these two have been fighting, and of course they are fighting for honours in the AM category. So it's a real inter-category battle that's going on here, but they're taking some unorthodox lines, Tony.
Yeah, the track limits are track limits, and normally you should respect them, and especially not gain any advantage. And at the time of overtaking, you should need to give their place back.
Well, in this AM category, as you can see, those two are really fighting, Florian Merckx and Ezequiel Perez-Companc. Philip Barron in the pits. Philip Barron, just seeing on our timing screen, the P has come up alongside Philip Barron, which would indicate he's in the pit lane, which this could be a disaster for Philip Barron, and it could hand the lead to Max Blancardi. Hopefully we'll get a replay straight away to try and find out what has happened to Philip Barron. And he is dropping down the order now. Max Blancardi now leads. Daniel D'Amato is P2. Ricardo Perez is going to become P3, I suspect, because Philip Barron is in the pit lane. So we've seen the two that we thought the fight was going to be the most aggressive between, both out in the pit lane. Bjorn Grossman certainly not taking any further part in the race. Eric Chung also out, but Philip Barron obviously a problem with that car, and he is in the pit lane. So the new leader of this race with, well, just under 11.5 minutes left to run is Max Blancardi. So goodness knows what happened there, Tony.
Yeah, it's a pity. We see Barron outside the car, and I mean, what can you say? He did a racing manual start of the race. Everything that was supposed to be done, he did it. After 11 laps, he had 11 seconds lead.
Yep.
Now we see him on the pits, and sometimes it's cruel. It's motorsport.
It is motorsport. That must be a bitter pill to swallow, though, when you've done such a commanding job. We saw him being consoled, if you like, by Stefano Guy's father that was down there, and I know Stefano Guy is up there on the pit perch as well, because the car was being run by Rosso Corsa, and whoa, Dario Carzo lets the back end step out in his chase to Ricardo Perez. So it's all changed now for the Gold Roof. Could Max Blancardi take the title that he has never won before? 10.5 minutes remain, and he has a less commanding lead of just 3 seconds, so the fight could still be on here.
Yes, 3 seconds means you cannot lose the rhythm you're driving. You need to keep concentrated. Again, no errors, respect the track limits, reserve your car, especially brakes, tires. We've seen a lot of drivers going off the track, so 3 seconds is a good lead, but at the same time you need to keep going and keep focused.
Now the thing is, Tony, Max Blancardi's already been warned once about track limits, so what you're saying carries even more significance, doesn't it? He's got to keep it clean and tidy now.
Yeah, there's one warning, and the next one will be a drive-through or stop and go, so it's a question of keeping up the speed, but in the right way.
Well, Ricardo Perez, since he has got past Dario Carzo, has built up a margin between them of some second and a half. So Ricardo Perez is clearly quicker than Dario Carzo, although he made a mistake going into that turn, did Ricardo Perez, and allowed Dario Carzo to get a little bit closer to him. And Ricardo Perez then in car number 202, as we just looked at Henrik Hedman in car 210, but our new race leader is Max Blancardi. Obviously a problem which caused Philip Barron to be in the pit lane, as more lights flashing there from Alex Martin as he dives up the inside. And there you can see on Philippe Pret, Alex Martin going through, and Philippe Pret, the Asia Pacific driver. Now we go on board with Ezequiel Perez Compact, who is down there on track P8 and P4 in the AM category effectively, so won't be to his liking. You can see the 4 on the left of the graphics there indicating where he is in his particular category. And Alex Martin having got past Philippe Pret and, well, Florian Merckx and Ezequiel Perez Compact. Florian Merckx, I mean, that's a number of times now, Tony, that he's taken that same line, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we keep seeing that golden car that goes wide and misses turn or two, so a little bit on the edge of the limits again.
This is Max Blancardi, our race leader. He has never taken this gold roof, and he'll be more than well aware of that as he sits in that car with a 3.6 margin over Daniel D'Amato. Can 2014 be the year that the 401 car of Max Blancardi gets the honours of the world title? He'd certainly love to do that. He's been hugely successful and one of the longest serving campaigners in the Ferrari Challenge, whether in Europe, whether in Italy, or whether across the Asia Pacific. Let's see how he does. He has Daniel D'Amato some 3.6 seconds behind, but it is a healthy margin. We've only got 7.5 minutes left to run. I don't know what's happening here with the timing screen, because all of a sudden Blancardi is dropping like a stone, but we can actually see he's out there on track, so we'll just ignore that for a moment. Sure, that's an error in the timing system, because he certainly doesn't look to be slow, does he, Tony?
Yeah, I think some of the guys are missing the sector 2, so maybe there was an issue with the timing. We need to wait and see a little bit. Yeah, so he's back on the top now. Thank
goodness for that. So Max Blancardi is still leading. Just a moment's confusion there as the timing screen took on a mind of its own. But Max Blancardi leads a 3.4 second margin over Daniel D'Amato in P2 and Ricardo Perez P3.
These remaining 6 minutes are going to be long time for Blancardi. He just hopes to see that checkered flag straight away, but another 6 minutes to go.
See, Daniel D'Amato is there and seems to be closer than he has been. We'll see when they cross the timing line what the difference between them is, but last completed lap time was a 2:17.145 for Blancardi and a 2:17.551 for this man, Daniel D'Amato. There in P3 is Ricardo Perez. So it's an interesting mix across the regions, because we've got Asia Pacific leading, European P2 and North American P3, which is great to see.
Yeah, this is exactly the right way. You can race these cars around the world, and on the world final you have the cars around the world together. So that's really fantastic to see Perez with the Ferrari of Houston in P3.
Now, Tony, I've been looking at the timing screen. The margin is coming down, because taking 9/10 out of Max Blancardi last time around was Daniel D'Amato. But surely he's left it too late, hasn't he, with just 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, as we talked earlier, the 3-second margin is something you can already manage a little bit.
Yeah.
But you cannot lose the rhythm too much.
Well, car number 88 and car number 90 are under investigation by the stewards for non-respect of track limits. I think that's obviously going to be the case. That's Florian Merckx and Ezequiel Perez Compact, and Florian Merckx in the gold card did seem to repeatedly go off the track. There is Daniel D'Amato. He is the man that is chasing the race leader, Max Blancardi. And once again, I'm sure, as Giancarlo Fisichella looks on, thank you, I'm sure that Samantha, Max's partner, will be... We saw her yesterday, Tony, on the pit perch. She couldn't actually look at the screen. She had to look away as it got within just a few moments of the end. And these two, well, they've provided some entertainment for us, haven't they? Because they have battled all season long, and Florian Merckx heads towards Dubai now as he takes, well, seemingly an A road on the Sheikh Zayed Road, I think. My goodness me. There's a Perez compact we're on board with now. They have been in a race on their own, haven't they?
Yeah, it looks like Florian Merckx is ready to go to the airport already. I mean, he's been just going all over the place, and I think both of the drivers, Merckx and Perez Compact, will have some words from the race steward, and probably the penalties, or if there is some more to investigate, will be after the race.
Well, Florian Merckx gets a drive-through penalty, and actually, Tony, I don't think I'm surprised by that. Not only does he get a drive-through penalty, but he'll be getting a road map as well, I would think. So Blancardi then with a 2.2 second lead. Again, Daniel D'Amato, last lap round, took 4/10 out of Blancardi, but I just have a feeling with just 3 minutes left to run that it's, as a charge, it's probably been left a little bit too late.
Yeah, if he keeps this rhythm, it will be just to the end. But as you said, at the moment, my money is on Blancardi. If everything stays like this, 2.2 seconds, 3 minutes to go, it still looks good.
Well, Florian Merckx is not giving up the chase here. He's going to have a go at Philippe Pret. Go in another direction, I don't doubt, as he tries very, very hard. There's the Kessel Racing team on their pit purchase. You can see Blancardi and D'Amato, and there the Piacenza team. And there is Florian Merckx. Now, in this position, he can get a time penalty as well, because he won't necessarily have 3 laps to take that drive-through penalty, Tony. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, normally, yes. If you have the 3 laps to do it, then they will add the time to the end. And yeah, again, as racing is hard, you give all you got, but sometimes with a little patience, maybe it pays off a better final result.
Well, we have less than 2 minutes left to run. We're looking at Dario Carzo, who is P4 on track, but P3 in the pro category. And, well, if he takes a podium, it will be well-deserved, because Dario has driven like a demon and hasn't always had brilliant luck, and he too runs a bit wide. And I'm sure now, at the end of a 40-minute race, those tyres are just about shot, aren't they, Tony?
Yeah, it's a combination of tyres, brakes, and the drivers. Also, the physical preparation comes...
The Florian Merckx and Ezequiel Perez compact show continues, and that was in replay, thankfully. But let's get back to Dario Carzo, who deserves to be up on the podium. He hasn't had it all his own way this year and has provided some great racing for us, as have all the drivers throughout the regions wherever they've raced in Ferrari Challenge. It has been absolutely fantastic. What I love about Dario Carzo, Tony, is the fact that whenever he does any damage or causes any problems to the car, he actually wants to be in the garage helping the engineers as well. Do you know what I mean? He always feels very responsible for what he's done. This is our race leader, Max Blancardi, the one title that is not taken in his terrific career in Ferrari Challenge is the World Final. Is this year going to be his year? He is on his last lap. It's Dave Richardson, it's Tony Verlander alongside as we take this last lap in the Ferrari Challenge for TropheoPirelli, their World Final race. Max Blancardi in the lead. Ricardo Perez leads for the AM category from Ferrari of Houston. And Blancardi choosing to race in the Asia Pacific. If it stays this way, the podium for the race is going to be Asia Pacific, Europe and North America. A great spread across all 3 regions. Max Blancardi, who has a margin of some 2.6 seconds over Daniel D'Amato. Well, barring any errors, he should be taking this title. It's been a fascinating race with some incredible driving, both for good and bad reasons in many ways. as Max Blancardi, well, Daniel D'Amato is in his rear-view mirror, but far enough away, probably not to cause him a problem. Max might be able just to breathe a sigh of relief, but he's got to concentrate, and there again, the back end of the car steps out. He controls the oversteer, but and Daniel D'Amato, in his quest to try and get on turns with him, really runs wide, and actually you can kind of respect D'Amato for trying so very hard. And as they head towards going under the bridge there at the hotel, there is D'Amato. I mean, he's throwing everything at it.
Yeah, he's really trying to catch Blancardi at the top, but I mean, they're already in the last sector, 2 corners to go, and what an exciting race, and we're gonna soon have a new world final champion.
Here he comes then, Max Blancardi. He has turn 21 to do, and he will take the world title. He's never done it before in his rich history of Ferrari Challenge, but in 2014 he does do it, and he's done it in style. Max Blancardi, world champion. P2, Daniel D'Amato, and P3 should be this man, Ricardo Perez. So Asia Pacific, Europe and North America, Ricardo Perez takes the title in the AM category, and actually there is Samantha Blancardi running as fast as she can up the pit lane, ready to greet her husband when the car comes back in. Alex Martin crosses the line now. What a race. In equal measure.
But really exciting. I mean,
it was exciting.
The guys and the drivers gave everything they got out there. The conditions were easy, really hot out here, but again, excellent entertainment and great racing.
Well, Ferrari Challenge never fails to disappoint, and supreme entertainment, as Tony has said, alongside us, and Max Blancardi. Well, of course, Tony, you're world champion as well. You know what it means to get a big title like that, and Max, particularly given the success he's had in the championships, but never having taken that world title, this will be something really special for him.
I think there will be a great emotion, but also a lot of weight coming off the shoulders. If you put a lot into the project, you give everything, you prepare yourself, and when you finally get the result, is something you cannot really describe perfectly, and it's a great feeling.
Well, there's a big crowd to enjoy this Finali Mondiali here, and they have been served some incredible racing to enjoy. This has been the final race of the 2014 season for Ferrari Challenge, and it's a season that sees Max Blancardi take the world title. What happens is we put the 3 regions together of Europe, North America and Asia Pacific, and all the drivers race, having their championships done and dusted. They race for this world final race, the Finali Mondiali. The winner of the AM category is Ricardo Perez, Ferrari of Houston, but the winner for the pro category is Max Blancardi. So Ricardo Perez, we can see the back end of that car, and there is Samantha. Just a little tear in her eye. Absolutely lovely lady. They're a lovely family, it has to be said, and well, Max is going to be... It's interesting, Tony, because Max is really motivated by Samantha. She really pushes him, and I mean, she's not gentle in terms of the pushing either. She tells him the way it is.
It's good to have a good push from the home team. I mean, all the home crowd and the whole family is supporting, and it can really be an advantage and extra motivation, and today it really worked out. Great win. Here's the whole family.
Oh yeah, that's great to see, isn't it? Here he comes down into Parc Fermé, Max Blancardi, P1. What a great job he did. I think he's utterly exhausted, Tony, after that race.
Yeah, as I said, the weight and the relief, sometimes when the pressure really goes off, you just suddenly feel tired. You just suddenly feel that you gave everything, and this is really nice feeling. He is exhausted.
He is exhausted, isn't he? He is exhausted. And there, just some of the huge crowd. He has done it at last. And he's sat down behind the car there. He's going to take some water on, isn't he? And just hydrate himself, because yeah, we've lost sight of the fact in our excitement, probably, Tony. It's blooming hot here, isn't it? And in the cockpit, it's even hotter. Ricardo Perez, we see now, takes the title in the AM category. And now Max is hydrated and embraces his family. I'll tell him in the paddock later. Of course, he is no spring chicken, Tony, so he's doing jolly well. And, oh, that's nice. Philippe Pret comes to offer his congratulations as well. And there's the emotion, Tony Vlander.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was telling about. When you have a dream and you achieve it, it's a great feeling.
And they pose the family for a fantastic photo. Philippe Pret gets in the mix as well, and why not? There's Daniel D'Amato, our new TropheoPirelli champion. We'll be seeing him on the podium. And now, Daniel is a young, fit driver who works out and works really, really hard. It's affected him as well.
Yeah, if there's still today's people out there saying that motor racing is not a real sport, here's a real proof. 40 minutes is like doing 5-6 hours on a spinning bike. So yeah. This is a real effort from the drivers.
I was talking yesterday to James Collado, Tony, who was saying that in preparation for a hot race like this, he does a special heat train cycle, which is like running in a sauna.
Yeah, there's many ways to train, but there's not another method of training as the driving itself. You can always simulate close to it, but the driving with the pressure, as you said, having guy behind you for 3 hours pushing you like hell, that's another thing. This year at Le Mans we did 18 hours and we were leading by 0.6 seconds. So that shows the level of racing that we can create in GT, Ferrari Challenge and World of Ferrari in general.
Do you know what? We've been so busy we haven't even talked about Le Mans this year, but...
it's okay, this is more important.
And there's Daniel taking on all that water. So it's Blancardi, D'Amato and Dario Carzo in the Pro category. In the AM category, it's going to be Ricardo Perez and Philippe Pret and Ezequiel Perez-Companc, as you saw on screen just a few moments ago. The thumbs up there, been served brilliant entertainment, and I have to say, as a venue, this has been fantastic. We've been made to feel so welcome, and the Finali Mondiali with the Ferrari world just around the corner as well. It's been a brilliant place to be. Let's take a look at the highlights of what was a fascinating race. So as the lights went green, Ricardo Perez screaming down there as every driver was fighting for every inch of tarmac from the get-go, that's for sure. We're on board with Daniel D'Amato just momentarily. And there, the young fans looking on, enjoying the race, and Ricardo Perez on an absolute charge, getting past the Philippe Pret car, number 417. Dario Carzo and Daniel D'Amato. Well, they fought for lap after lap after lap between them. Eventually, Daniel D'Amato was able to get past Dario Carzo, but it wasn't without a fight back as Dario Carzo came back and asked for more. Stefano Guy looked on, the ELMS driver. Daniel D'Amato still defending that position from Dario Carzo once he had got past. Max Blancardi it was that eventually would take the lead because Philippe Barron was with some problem in the pit lane. His margin that he had built up count as naught. Ezequiel Perez-Companc and Florian Merckx, they were choosing to use a completely different circuit to the one that was marked out here at the Yas Marina. Max Blancardi, though, towards the end of the race, Daniel D'Amato was getting ever closer. And Ricardo Perez too in P3. Which way was it going to go? Well, Blancardi knew he had back markers to get past, but he'd hold it all together and head towards the checkered flag to take the title that he'd never won before. The world final title goes the way of Max Blancardi. So the Yas Marina circuit then, and what a race we have had. We'll be talking to both the winner in the Pro category, Max Blancardi, and also Ricardo Perez in the AM category in due course. And the podium is being readied right now, and looking forward to this podium. We can see the drivers that are up there already. And, well, we're seeing the emotion, the sheer exhaustion with Max Blancardi. And we must mention Le Mans, Tony, because when it comes to exhaustion, the Le Mans 24-hour is something completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 24-hour race. It's a world of its own. I've had professional drivers always next to me. Last year was a great emotion with Kamui Kobayashi. We didn't finish on the podium, but Kamui was crying after the race, saying that this is something that's way beyond he ever even imagined.
And that's extraordinary, isn't it, coming from someone like Kamui Kobayashi. So podium is next, and there you can see it being readied. And we've had the benefit of having Tony alongside us in commentary. Hugely successful, of course. World champion, and now world champion about to be crowned here in the Ferrari Challenge. And this was the moment that Max Blancardi realised that dream and took the win. He's had a great weekend here at the Abu Dhabi circuit, that's for sure. And there the family await the podium. And that was the moment Philippe Pret embraced Max Blancardi, and really did get to him. Really did get to him, just momentarily, didn't it? Suspect we're going to see some more of that emotion up there on the podium in just a moment. I wonder if Florian Merckx has gone through check-in yet at the airport. You're so right, he's taken a different route to the airport to the rest of us. Well, how, I wonder, is Philippe Barron going to be feeling now, Tony? Because, you know, the race was his, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to have that 10 seconds lead, I was already giving the race to him, and yeah, we didn't exactly see what happened, but assuming it was a technical issue, and we saw him praising the team members and sharing the disappointment is part of the racing. He really performed well. He had an excellent start, good opening laps, and he was doing exactly the job he needed to do, and unfortunately today it wasn't for him.
He couldn't do any more, could he?
No.
We look at the backdrops, some of the fantastic scenery around the Yas Island and Abu Dhabi itself. And as I was mentioning, the Ferrari World is, of course, right next door to the Yas Marina circuit. If you come into the Middle East, I urge you to go to Ferrari World. It is something else. And my executive director, producer, call him what you will, Nico Spalak, who is behind me, has had some success there in kart racing, Tony. In fact, he beat Giancarlo, he beat James Collado, and he beat David Rigon as well.
So he has a bright future in motor racing.
I think so. I think so. And we're, after this race, we're going to be trying to sort out a deal for him for next season. We will see. So we await the podium. It is being readied. I can see from the vantage point high up here in the main grandstand that we're just a few moments away. We're just taking a look at some of the shots from the action that was in the race. That was a bold move by Robert Purgel, wasn't it? As the number 78 car gets turned around, but there were a lot of incidents like that. Here is Krista then for us.
Okay, should we go? Ricardo, what an amazing finish to a great season. How do you feel?
Yes, it's an amazing season. We win the championship of North America here at the Grand Finale, third. It's amazing. I want to say thanks to Mr. Risi for your support, Alfonso Celis, Ferrari of Houston, all the guys, my family, a lot of work, hard this year. I was very happy this in Abu Dhabi. Ferrari, it's an amazing world. I'm very happy.
As well as all of your fans.
Yes, all my fans here from Mexico come. In Mexico, there are 5 in the morning. Many people is following by the Reds, and it's incredible for me. Thanks for all.
Congratulations,
and thanks
Ricardo.
for Telcel, Carlos Slim, for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ricardo Perez then, and he's absolutely delighted taking the title in the AM categories. We look at some super images of that 202 car, which has delivered what he needed it to deliver, but of course he's had to drive the car, hasn't he? Brilliant. Good crowd here to enjoy this final round of the Ferrari Challenge. It is the Finali Mondiali weekend, and Christopher Florin down there doing interviews for us, which is fantastic. We know Max Blancardi will be spoken to, and there is his family down there. And now it's time for the podium. There is Ezequiel Perez Companc. So we're doing the AM podium first of all. Ezequiel Perez Companc. Philippe Pret and Ricardo Perez. And national anthem will play out right now for Ricardo Perez. So the national anthem plays out for Ricardo Perez on the top step of the podium in the AM category and taking the world final race. Giancarlo Fisichella, it is, the official Ferrari GT driver. He of huge success as well, that's making the trophy presentations to the AM category drivers here. In TropheoPirelli, Ezequiel Perez Compact receives his trophy first of all for Europe. There's Marc Genet, the official Ferrari test driver, making his trophy presentation to Philippe Pret, who of course represents the Asia Pacific region. And then for North America, it's going to be Ricardo Perez and Kimi Räikkönen, the official Scuderia Ferrari driver, that makes the trophy presentation there. And, well, at the gala dinner last night, I was impressed that Kimi Räikkönen was really rather chatty. And the Pirelli trophy being made also to Ricardo Perez. And everyone lines up for the photographs. Giancarlo Fisichella and Marc Genet and Kimi Räikkönen with the trademark sunglasses on, which incidentally he didn't wear at the gala dinner last night. Just thought I'd make that point. And they're all there for the photographs. Finali Mondiali 2014 here in Abu Dhabi. What a racing festival it has been. It's fantastic. And we've still got one more podium to come, and that is for TropheoPirelli Pro. And there, everyone down there enjoying the final podium of the season 2014. And there the sparkling bubbly being sprayed. The season gets underway in Europe, 18th and 19th of April. Monza is the opening race for the Ferrari Challenge European Series. Not much of a time off for our North American friends, as 23rd, 24th of January they'll be performing in Daytona. In Asia Pacific, Sepang in Malaysia, 14th to the 15th of March. All the season details available on the website, CorsaClienti.com. CorsaClienti.com is the website. I urge you to check it out, and you can see all the dates and all the fixtures for the 2015 season for Ferrari Challenge. Let's cross to Alessandro right now, who has Max Blancardi.
Eccoci qui con il campione del mondo della categoria Pro del Trofeo Pirelli, il campione del mondo, Max Blancardi. A chi vuoi dedicare questa vittoria? E qual è stato il momento più bello quando è finito questa gara?
And was the greatest moment of this race? Well, first of all, I thought I was coming second, so it came as a surprise, and I want to dedicate this victory to my wife and my daughter and to all my supporters. So, two titles, and so it's been a great experience. Thank you very much.
Ma penso che torneremo in Europa sempre nel segno del Cavallino.
Europe still with the Cavallino, and we'll see the program. It's still a bit of a surprise. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you.
Just a hint there that we may see Max back in Europe then. Be interesting. So Max Blancardi being interviewed there by Alessandro. Podium still to come, and there is the family that he wanted to dedicate the victory to. Ever supportive, always present, and the support of the family always so appreciated by each and every driver, families that are here supporting them, as well as the engineers and the teams, of course, as well. Let's get this podium underway then for the TropheoPirelli Pro category. See Max Bianchi there, just to the very left of the picture. He took the Copa Shell Championship. Dario Carzo is on step 3 of the podium. There is Daniel D'Amato. What a great weekend he has had as well. He'll go to step number 2 of the podium, and good handshake between Dario Carzo. Dario Carzo with his glasses on just looks mean, doesn't he? And there is Max Blancardi, who has done it. And here comes the national anthem for Max Blancardi as he jumps top step of the podium. So national anthem plays out for our new world champion, Max Blancardi, on the top step. So making the trophy presentation, Enrico Galliera, the Ferrari Senior Vice President, Commercial and Marketing, making the third place trophy presentation to Dario Carzo. And P2, Piero Ferrari, the Ferrari chairman, he makes the presentation to Daniel D'Amato. And presentation being made by Piero Ferrari, the Ferrari chairman, to Max Blancardi. The Pirelli trophy being presented now to Max Blancardi as well. Handshakes all round, both to Dario Carzo and also Daniel D'Amato, and they're the very happy family, the Blancardi team. What a great job Max has done, and everyone will pose for photographs on the podium. And well, all I can say is, once again, the Ferrari challenge from our side has been fantastic. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. The Finali Mondiali is the final event. It's Amedeo Felisa, the Ferrari Chief Executive Officer there. The graphic earlier on was incorrect. Apologies for that. It has been a fantastic season, and so looking forward to 2015. For Europe, it all gets underway 18th to the 19th of April at Monza. Then we go to Mugello and Budapest and Paul Ricard and Imola and Valencia. In North America, not long to wait. Daytona, 23rd, 24th of January. Then Miami, Sonoma, Montreal, Mosport, Mont Tremblant and Laguna Seca. Asia Pacific, the season starts 14th and 15th of March at Sepang in Malaysia, with Fuji, Shanghai, Zhuhai, Sentul, Indonesia, and Sepang straight after. All the information at corsaclienti.com. It has been a great privilege to talk about the Ferrari Challenge during 2014. Please join us for 2015. From Abu Dhabi, bye-bye for now.